Hello, dear colleagues and friends, and welcome to this edition of QuiroHub's Chiro Influencers Interview. If you like to know how the message of chiropractic is the answer, why self-responsibility is the solution, and why we need to market our voice and message, stay with us, because we have a chiropractic powerhouse with us today in our platform for you. And today we have somebody that literally needs no introduction. I believe, if not everybody, almost everybody in our audience knows this person through his many and different chiropractic endeavors, with his interviews, his visits to different events, his products to help chiropractic develop their practice. And we have Mr. Jim Chester with us today.
Hey, Dr. Carlos, thank you for having me today. It's such an honor to be able to share my message and hopefully light a fire and help some people inspire themselves today.
Thanks to you, Jim. I know you are a very, very busy person, and taking from your time to join us, it's quite a treat. We connected originally, we know each other through of course, digital media, but we connected personally at the Big Idea in Mexico last year. Fantastic event. We both had a great time there, not only spending quality time with our Mexican colleagues, but also during a fantastic chiropractic event that Omar Lera and his group put together for their audience. Great experience. I'm very happy to have met you and spent time with you there, Jim.
Yeah, you know, one of the highlights of that whole event was to see so many happy people.
Yes.
And you know, I think that a lot of times people go to an event and they really don't know what they're getting into or what to expect. They think that they're going to hear some philosophy or get a chance to meet somebody that's a big name. But really, it wasn't about any of that to me. It was about connecting with the people in attendance. And it was probably the most well-attended event I've ever been to for chiropractic. So
yes.
It was really, it was powerful and inspiring to me to be a part of that community. So I just want to say a big thank you to the promoters and the organizers of that program for bringing me and the group down.
Yes, and I have to say the same about them. That was, I can, word by word, I could repeat what you're saying about my experience there. I repeated this on our platform several times. Being a Puerto Rican puts us on a fence. And the fence is that, you know, even though we're Spanish speaking and we are all, of course, Hispanics and Latin Americans, we have a gigantic influence from the United States on us. All Puerto Rican chiropractors are educated in the United States. So our perspective of chiropractic is a continental US perspective of chiropractic. And then I have not traveled, or I had not been connected with Latin American chiropractic until maybe the last 3 years. And it's amazing and so refreshing, you know, coming out of Puerto Rico, or quote unquote the United States, going to Latin America, be it Chile, Mexico, Argentina, and seeing the level of commitment, passion, and enjoyment that these colleagues have for chiropractic is just something to be admired, to be cherished, and protected.
Yeah, when I see what's happening and the connections that I've made within the space of the Latin-speaking chiropractors, it's a very strong presence. And they are definitely standing up for the profession the right way. And I couldn't be more proud to be connected to the Latin American chiropractors and the Latin speaking chiropractors, because I really think what they're doing is protecting the sacred trust. And they're going out there as servants, and they're learning how to take care of their communities. And that's really the big idea of chiropractic. So I just, you know, I'm so proud of what we're able to be a part of, and to see how much intention behind the profession is, especially and you know, I've been in Mexico and I've been to Barcelona, and I've seen what's happening in Spain and Mexico, and it's amazing to see how chiropractic is thriving.
Yes, yes, it is something else. It is something to support and to protect.
Absolutely.
Jim has, just to tell you a little bit about Jim, Jim has dedicated his life to spreading the truth about chiropractic. Over the years, he person-to-person marketing and scheduling events for independent offices all across the nation, has also developed one of the greatest sales cycles in our new digital product, New Patients in a Box, which teaches doctors to go out and schedule as many patients as they can handle. It's so easy, they can train their staff to do it too. We're gonna, and in Doc in a Box, we're gonna talk later on. I just wanna dive right in with some questions that I have for Jim. Is that okay with you, Jim?
Absolutely. And anybody that does stick around to the end of this interview, there's a special gift that I'm gonna provide to everybody that listens.
Super. Jim, from my perspective, you are probably one of the best, well-connected people in chiropractic because of what you do with your interviews and your visit to events and your speaking engagements and everything you do. So I'm sure you have a wealth of knowledge that probably exceeds most of us as chiros, because most of us are locked in our practices and don't get out much unless it's to a seminar, but it is your life to move around the chiropractic world. What's your perspective with what's going on right now with regards to chiropractic practice development and the situation that everybody around the world finds themselves with regards to the coronavirus? Call it lockdown, call it quarantine, call it safety issues. How is this affecting chiropractic, and what needs to be done different for chiropractic to continue moving forward?
Yeah, I appreciate the question. And I really believe that something I heard a long time ago was there's no greater time to be a chiropractor than now. But there's also, Dr. Carlos says, no greater time to reach your community through digital platforms than now. Mm-hmm. And I really believe that with whatever's the situation that we're all going through right now is now more than ever, people need chiropractic. Now more than ever, the practitioner needs to do what it takes to reach their communities. And what we were talking about a moment ago was my specialty is going out and doing signups in the community and bringing people in as new patients. Well, that type of work has kind of dried up right now. So people have to become more effective on how they can communicate with their local markets. So I think a big part of this is actually understanding that it's not a problem. It's just, we have a solution. And the solution is communication, number one, connection. And we need to learn how to communicate and connect with the tools that are for us right now. And I think that we all have tools accessible to us at our fingertips. And for anybody to not be successful and to be able to reach their community, that's a headspace thing. And that's people telling themselves no rather than saying yes, and seeing this corona situation as a problem rather than an opportunity. And I think that if we look at this as an opportunity rather than some type of this is it's something of a problem, I think more people would see that people need chiropractic right now more than ever. And yes. And there's never been a greater time to reach more people because everybody is contained on their technology. So we just have to be more effective on how we reach people.
So one thing that in this whole mess that a media mess we're in, because it has all been it continues to be a gigantic statistics mess, health issue, and the whole coronavirus scare. There's no talk about health. It's 100% sickness talk, and not only sick next talk, but about only one issue, which is coronavirus. And there's not one word told about health, and it is chiropractors that have the knowledge, the philosophy, and the experience to help people think different about what's going on and many other issues.
You know, when I got into this profession 11 years ago, I saw that chiropractic was the answer for the medical industry, if we can say that. I saw that chiropractic was something that gave people better quality of life, and that why was it so confusing to people to understand chiropractic. But as I worked in the profession, I also understood that the more that we get people into the chiropractic lifestyle, that more people are going to find the answers for themselves, and they're not going to think that it's an outside-in approach to health. They're going to realize that the greatest doctor inside of any of us is the one inside of our body, and that the body needs nothing extra to add into it to make it healthy. It just needs no interference. So when the body's subluxated, and sub means less and light is lux, and Asian is out of alignment. So when there's less alignment in the body, that means the body is able to be more sick and have disease. And when the body is healthy, it has more ease. So when we think about like the chemistry of the health system, there's no money in people being healthy. So that's why it's being
only for chiropractors.
Yeah, but that's why the media that is being controlled by the pharmaceutical and the pill machine and the vaccine machine, that's why those people have bought into the control mechanism, which is the media and the television. Mm-hmm. And, I think that when it comes to scaring people, and you said mismanaged statistics, there's just so much confusion around the topic. That's on purpose. Because if there was clarity to the situation, then people would say, well, why don't you just go work out? Why don't you just eat healthy? Why don't you take care of yourself and have personal responsibility and learn how to actually live the chiropractic lifestyle? Eat well, think well, move well, get adjusted. And I think if people understood that, there would be no race to arms for some type of outside-in solution.
Yes, totally agree. Thank you, Jim. And in terms of coming back to our point, which is the getting out the message and helping the chiropractors serve more people, what do you see shifting, or what needs to shift right now in the way that chiropractors get their message out to the public that maybe was not being done before coronavirus?
Well, what I was doing 3 years ago was these types of interviews. And as soon as this whole thing shifted, everybody wanted to come into this space. But the reason we were doing it the way we were doing it is because we wanted to keep free speech alive and well in the chiropractic profession. Mm-hmm. But once this whole thing happened, everybody was pivoting into this online space of how to get themselves more exposure, which I'm all for. I don't own this space. We're just consistent within it. And I would urge everybody out there that's watching or that will watch us on replay to get into the space. And I could give some tips on that if that's okay.
Please.
Yeah, so I would recommend all of you watching to go and make a list of your dream 100 people that you would like to connect with in your local community, not chiropractors, mm-hmm. but you have to brand local. So find businesses that are the top rated and top reviewed businesses within a 7-mile radius of your office, and host a show and feature them and talk to them about what makes them unique and amazing and what type of services they provide. And then you co-brand chiropractic into your local community, and then you feature these people on your show. You become somewhat of a celebrity status because now you're talking about what makes other people amazing and unique, and what makes their shop or their gym or whatever they're doing connect to the community. And then you take those resources, and we can talk about how to repurpose that stuff. But I think that the most important thing is what we're doing right now is connecting the dots for the message of chiropractic, but people can do that on a much more macro level, which is their local community.
Fantastic. So you're telling us, let's do what we're doing right now, but just transpose it to your community and your niche or your environment. Fantastic. Oftentimes we actually find it can be, depending on where you're standing, it can be a challenge to find content for your social media. But I find that what you're telling us right now is basically creates an unlimited amount of fantastic, relevant content for the audience of your social media efforts. That is fantastic. And everybody, something tells me everybody's going to say yes. I mean, what business owner in your community is going to say no to free publicity? One thing that impresses me about it and blows my mind about social media is that the more collaboration there is, even between competition, the more collaboration there is even between competition, the further we can get our message. And it's something that maybe didn't happen before social media in the way, we used to market and we used to approach or reject our competition in the past.
Well, Dr. Carlos, one of the things I want to impress upon people is from one of my mentors, Ed Osborne, and he told me a long time ago that we're more alike than we are different. And when you know that we're all more alike than we are different, it's okay to share other people's messages. It's okay to support your brother in arms or your sister in arms. That is completely relevant. And I think that it used to be said in the marketing perspective of tell us what makes you unique or different from the rest of the people in chiropractic. Well, now we need to talk about what makes us more the same.
Yes.
And I think that when we focus on what makes us more the same than what makes us more unique, then we realize that chiropractic stands for one thing: protecting subluxation-based chiropractic and innate intelligence and making the school strong. And I think that when we stand on those three tenets, we really support the future of chiropractic. So chiropractors are more alike than they are different, number one. And back to the idea of creating content and how to do that, I would recommend everybody to work with a local photographer and do a really nice photo shoot and taking images and then doing these interviews with the people in your community and taking that information and transcribing that. And if people want a resource, it's called rev.com, rev.com, and they can get a transcript of anything that they do, their doctor's talk. So maybe do a doctor's talk once a week to your patient base and take that doctor's talk and get that thing transcribed and pull quotes, take that photo shoot, overlay images on there. And now you have quality content that's going to connect with your local market, and people are going to become more engaged with you. They're going to say, wow, I never thought about it that way. Or, oh, wow, there's a chiropractor just a mile away from us that they're tagged on this image. Or, oh, wow, they just interviewed the guy that runs the natural grocer. They just interviewed the person that runs the hair salon. They interviewed the person that is, in the farmer's market selling vegetables. So I think that there's good quality alliances for people and good strategy once they start implementing it. And there's a further reach when you're social on social.
Excellent. I love it. Jim, I see as I listen to you and I learn all these great new ideas, and I'm reminded of the energy and passion that you invest in what you do. A question has to come up. Is a mandatory question. What's your why? What's your inspiration to do this? What you do, not being a chiropractor?
I love that question, and it really goes back to fundamentals of belief systems. It was 11 years ago, I was back in Davenport, Iowa, where my hometown, and the chiropractor that started me in my chiropractic career is Dr. Matt Walker. And Dr. Matt was asking me when he was finishing his chiropractic degree, Jim, would you come up and work in this chiropractic office I'm going to start near Chicago? And I said, Matt, I don't know anything about chiropractic, but I know that when I get adjusted, it makes me feel better. And
Uh-huh.
he goes, that's enough. He goes, you already understand it. And he's like, I'll train you on what you need to say for communication to patients. I'll train you on how to do marketing. I'll train you on how to read x-ray. I'll teach you how to do rehab. I'll teach you how to like work in the office. I go, okay, fine. So when I was doing some like deep dive, like soul searching, it was, what do I want to dedicate my career to? And I worked in journalism when I got out of college. And I didn't believe in the journalistic approach because, as we pre-framed earlier, what is journalism doing? They are supporting an entity that I don't agree with. They're being funded by the wrong money. They're taking money from people that don't want to see people healthy. So I saw chiropractic as the solution for long-term health, not just for, you know, a nation that's, as America, we're ranked 38th in health grades for the health and wellness of our nation. Well, you think that the country that, you know, supports so much within the pharmaceutical industry would be the healthiest nation in the world, but we're not. We're failing miserably. So when I got into chiropractic, I saw chiropractic as the one solution for long-term health of our nation. And that's why I've dedicated my time and my energy and my attention to telling the truth of chiropractic. And there's a saying, Dr. Carlos, if we don't tell the truth about chiropractic, someone else will tell them and mislead them about drugs or surgery.
Yes.
So I feel like it's my innate potential to share my message and to connect the dots for the future of chiropractic with the work that we do. And to me, Dr. Carlos, it's never been about me. It's been about what God has given me and downloaded me with as a servant. And when I realized that I was a servant, I had a mantra. When I had a rough day, I'd say, go forth and serve, go forth and serve, go forth and serve. And that's just what I continue to do. And that's why my life is so blessed and I can touch so many people's lives with the work that we produce.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I think it's something we all need to work on. It's our why. And it's evident that you've put a effort and time into finding that, and then through your work, it's evident how far that has been able to drive you in, you know, helping spread chiropractic to other people and helping chiropractors while they'll do that too. I think this is pretty evident at this point in our interview, but I have to ask, how important is communication or communication skills within chiropractic?
Well, last night I made a post that was pretty interesting because I was listening to Reggie Gold's 1971 Lyceum at Sherman College recording called The Valley of the Blind.
Uh-huh.
And I was hiking a mountain out here 2 days ago, and I was feeding my mind with Reggie Gold. And he said, DC equals doctor of chiropractic, but doctor of cause. DC equals doctor of correction. But DC also means doctor of communication and doctor of care. So if we think about the message of what a DC means, there's a larger spectrum for what DC actually stands for. And the doctor of communication is somebody that has to understand the science, philosophy, and art, and then be able to communicate and connect. And I really believe that once we realize that we need to build a community around our message, that builds a practice. And I think that a lot of times when people get into chiropractic, they understand that they have to become good adjusters, but they don't understand what it's like to become a good communicator. Because if you're an introvert and you're very scientific brained, you're not extrovert and artistic brained. So we have to learn how to balance that out, and the chiropractor has to learn how to become a better communicator. If not, like I said earlier, you can choose to or you don't. And if you choose not to, somebody else is going to come out of school and they're going to choose that, and their career is going to take off where you're going to be like, well, why don't people come in and see me? Why is my career struggling? Well, I think one of the biggest things, Dr. Carlos, is people have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. And that's why even if nobody comes to your doctor's talk on Wednesday nights, do it anyways.
Yes.
Even if one person shows up, do it like there's a million people in that room. So I think that communication has to be consistent and it has to be from the heart. And I think that if you just start sharing who you really are, people become attracted to real people.
Fantastic. I love it. And we've done a lot of public speaking in the development of our practices. We've hired coaches. One of my mentors and coaches in public speaking is Roberto Monaco, who has transformed the way we were able to convey the chiropractic message. And all of that is of great help, but nothing more than practice. Just repetitive practice until you get your message clear. Also, in the repetition, it helps so much identifying what I call subluxations of public speaking. You know, the areas that you thought you were clear, but by repeating, you realize you're not delivering the message that you thought you were. And I'm gonna say this again, in repeating your message and practicing it is when you are able to clear those subluxations until you finally get a clear message to your crowd. I've been speaking for practice members for 25 years. And I can tell you that it was 20 years later after we began that I actually felt that I was finally getting a good message through. So the practicing and what you say is so accurate in terms of if nobody shows up, you do the talk anyway. Most likely your CA will be there, sit her in front of you, have her listen to your talk and ask her to take notes and be honest about what you need to improve about your talk. They know, and sometimes you haven't given them the space for them to tell you what needs to be improved in your talk.
Absolutely. And what you said there was a very magical acronym, which is CA, which the chiropractic profession would know as a chiropractic assistant. But many of us others, we frame that as chiropractic angels.
Yes.
Because without the CA, the doctor doesn't have support. And I was talking to you off camera why the CA has to evolve in this day and age and in this new market is because it's the team. And a chiropractor is the leader. But without support, the chiropractor burns out. And I'm sure you've seen this time after time where somebody gets brought onto a system and they think all they do is make phone calls, collect money, and schedule appointments.
Yes.
Well, we have to evolve that position because with this media age, we have to take the resources that we have and the people that support us, and we have to learn how to build a stronger message and build a stronger messenger, which is the chiropractor, but we have to figure out how to communicate that and disseminate that and break that down into usable pieces, which is taking this interview and making infographics and doing pull quotes and making 30-second videos and making those onto whatever social media platforms you find necessary. And I think that when we think about the CA of the future, they're going to be more media driven. They're going to be more on social platforms, and they're going to be more of support and be able to do the things that the CA of yesteryear used to do as well.
We have one thing we were talking off the air before the interview was we were talking about all the new things that need to be done in practice, and this is one of them, the CA being involved in social media and us creating content and so on and so forth. But then it dawned on me how today I don't see patients on a day-to-day basis. You know, people say, you don't practice anymore? Yes, I practice and I work harder than ever. I just do it through other doctors that work for us. But that's harder and takes more time and effort and knowledge than seeing patients by yourself. And I remember clearly when I was in practice seeing patients on a day-to-day basis and adding one more thing to that day of work it would be crazy. Like after seeing 80 patients in a day, sitting down to write content, or after seeing 80 patients in a day, sitting down and answering the Facebook messages that came in, it's just beyond comprehension. And then you help me see how that's part of the evolution of the CA. That's probably not the evolution of the doctor. I think the evolution of the doctor needs to be as busy as humanly possible, helping as many people as they can. And in the evolution of the CA is that being the one posting and being the one answering the Facebook messages or the WhatsApp messages, whatever comes in. And that really, open my field of vision on this subject. Thank you again.
Well, we don't know unless we connect. And I think that, you and I meeting down in Mexico last year, it gave me a chance to see how powerful you were and the message that you brought to the audience. It was amazing to see you present and then to make a friendship with you going to the pyramids.
Yes.
And to, be able to share meals with you and to see who the person was that was inspiring the group. That was a very humble part for me, to just be in your presence. But you touched on one of our mutual colleagues earlier, Roberto Monaco.
Mm-hmm.
And tells people, if we don't tell people the truth about chiropractic, someone else will make up a story about it.
Yes.
So that's the other part of this, is why we need all hands on deck, to not feel entitled to all I do is this. Like, it's a team effort. And I think that when we tell people the truth about chiropractic from clinic to clinic to clinic to clinic to clinic, we get more exposure. And it's not about the television. It's about where people's attention is to their media device. And we call it a cell phone. What I call it is a little computer. And everybody has a little computer in their pocket that sometimes makes calls. But more so, it's controlled on texting, it's controlled on Facebook, it's controlled on Instagram, it's controlled on WhatsApp. So these platforms are taking the attention away from the big screen and putting it to a small screen. And when you realize that where attention goes, energy flows, and people's attention is going to these devices. So we have to figure that the old way of thinking of how to run a team, we have to reposition us into the future. And the future is connecting to people in 30-second clips, 1-minute clips, infographics, stories. And we have to keep telling the story. From the beginning of this interview, what I say, chiropractors for the past, since I've been in the profession 11 years, they said to me, there's never been a greater time to be a chiropractor. And that, what's the other thing I was saying? That chiropractic, it's blanking on me, but there's never been a better time to be a chiropractor. And I think when we think about that root, we think about like how the tree grows. And if we grow a healthy tree from like the roots, then we have a great future. And I really believe that those messages need to continue, and we need to keep on telling the truth, and we need to keep on, communicating with our audiences.
Thank you. As I hear you, it comes to my mind a recent experience. I was at a dental office recently, and when I walked in, I noticed that the classical TV screen that was in the past hanging on the wall, showing whatever TV channel or content to people in the waiting room, was turned off. And everybody in the waiting room, including myself, were connected online on our cell phones. And to me, it struck that chord in me that, wow, that thing on the wall, that TV on the wall, it's a thing of the past. Even if the dentist would have had on that TV, no one would have been, or most of us would have not been paying attention to that old TV. We were being all connected to our social media, or to, as you well put it, to our little computer, the pocket computer.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Jim, everybody is going to agree and be happy about everything you've said to this point. You know, everybody's going to find that there's no better time to be a chiropractor. Everybody is going to say that we need to get on digital platforms. Everybody's going to agree that we need to do videos and interview people. That's all happy. And everybody's gung ho about it. And then there's the word that most of us chiropractors are not comfortable with: selling or sales. What's your position on selling and sales within chiropractic?
Well, I've been told this for many years, that chiropractic saves lives. And if people really believe that, selling's easy. And if you tell somebody that you can help them and you mean that, that's an energy exchange. And I really believe that selling is an energy exchange. If you don't believe in what you do, you'll never sell. But I also tell people this analogy: does the person that makes the car sell the car?
No.
Exactly. The person that makes the car does not fix the car either. So there has to be a certain level of responsibility for different mindset to when you go into doing the work. Is the person that performs the adjustment, do they always sell the adjustment? You know, I think that the headspace is the last frontier. And when we understand that selling is energy exchange to provide service. And if you believe in the service you provide, then selling it's easy. It's automatic. That's why I can go out to anybody's community and schedule them in 50 patients in a day, because I know what I'm telling people will save their life. And that's the difference between somebody going out and doing a scheduling or screening event and feeling like, damn it, I'm here and I don't want to do this.
Yes.
Where I go there and I'm like, if I don't go and make the most of my 5 hours here, then people are going to go and get surgery. They're going to suffer with migraines. Their babies are going to have acid reflux. The mom's going to have to get an epidural rather than have a natural birth. Like, if I don't go out there and tell people that arms are going numb, that it's going to cause a heart problem, that they should go get it checked by the chiropractor, that a pill or potion or lotion is only like masking the symptom, that it's not really going to fix the underlying cause, where a chiropractor will take time with you. They'll tell you what they found, how much concern there is, how they can help you, and then they're going to provide service to you. And I think that if you have that type of mission in your heart, that selling is easy. And people want to hear how you can help them. And that's how chiropractic sales makes sense to me. And that's why I've been able to schedule in so many people, because it's a fire inside of me that I want more people to be helped with.
Wow. Fantastic. And now that with your explanation, you mentioned duck in a box. I recall clearly you in Mexico talking about duck in a box. Can you tell us what is duck in a box, and also mention about what the gift that you have for our audience today?
Absolutely. So New Patients in a Box is a program that I built from the ground up. I went out and I did 600 screening events, as chiropractors know them. I reframe it and call them scheduling events, because nobody wants to get screened, number one, but everybody wants to get scheduled. Okay. So I thought about how can we reframe the message behind this work, and what I call it is harvesting the community. You go out there and tell the truth, and you harvest people in and you help them. And it's harvest season every weekend. and you know, as I started doing this work, I didn't like it either, because I didn't realize how important it was to be present. But after I did 600 events in 2.5 years and scheduled in over 3,000 new patients, I realized the power of influence. I mean, there was one doctor I was working with in Denver, and I sent him in 624 new patients in 18 months.
Wow.
Think about how that would improve anybody's practice. Think about how he changed those people's lives, because I went out there and did the work for him for 18 months and scheduled him in 624 new people.
That's approximately, I'm doing numbers with off the top of my head. That's approximately 30 patients a month, 30 new patients a month.
Yeah, based on the events that he scheduled for me, and I went out and did the work for him. I
Wow.
didn't go find those events. He said, I'm going to contract you, Jim, to go out and find these people, but I'll book all the events. You just go service them. So over this 36 months, I did 2.5 years, I did 600 chiropractic marketing events. So the new patients in a box was the genius that I developed after going out and doing the work. Like I wouldn't want to sell people something that I didn't think would work for them. So what I did is I made 22 modules telling people what they need, how to perform, and how to do everything very linear that they can go out there and grow a practice with. And they can go to I mean, this is weird, but you can go to a dog show. You can go to a car show. You can go to a farmer's market. You can go to a health fair. You can go to a city market. You can go to a state fair. You can go to your county fair. You can go to anything under the sun. If there's people pushing strollers, that's where you want to be. So wherever there's families that show up, I think that that's where you want to go and set up your 10 by 10 booth. And yeah, anybody that you have to connect with me though. It's a direct message to me, and you have to send me your email address. And if you do that, and if you follow directions, I will send you a login for new patients in a box at no charge, because eventually we're going to have openings again, and people are going to go back to these events. They're going to go to the city events that are put on, the street fairs, the festivals that happen in the marketplace. But if anybody direct messages me with their email address, I will send them a login for free for new patients in a box.
Wow. Thank you, Jim. Thank you for that gift for our audience. And if I understand it correctly, this is a product that you typically sell, yet since right now there is where, how can I say this? Maybe right now in some areas, not everywhere, but in some areas, this type of event is not easy to connect. You want to help our audience and her chiropractors by having free access to this material, so that when this situation clears out and we are able to go back again into the communities, they have the resources and the knowledge to get it done.
Well, yes. And what we talked a lot about was on this episode was new school marketing, but this is old school marketing.
Yes.
And I'll use this as I got my bones in the game doing old school marketing. And as I learned how to be an old school marketer and do direct sales, I realized how important it was to do new school marketing. So I really believe that you have to have like both ends of the spectrum understood, and you have to be able to do both of them to grow a practice. So as I'm not a chiropractor, I know what it takes to do new school marketing because we've done 800 interviews in the past 3 years. And I'm not a mathlete, but I do know that's a lot of interviews.
Yes.
And to be able to go out in 2.5 years and to build that type of reputation for getting that many new patients, I think that more people just need to understand that new school marketing paired with old school marketing is a recipe for success. And more people need to really connect with their community and get the self-esteem and self-confidence to be the communicator. And if we do those things in sequence, then success is yours.
Thank you. Beautiful. Beautiful. Love it, Jim. I want to, before we close, I want to just let our audience know that the big idea happens again this year in November 2021 in Mexico. You can find information about it at the Big Idea in Facebook, or in Spanish, La Gran Idea, or through our friend Omar Lera. Omar, Lera. He's the director of the whole adventure. Omar is a genius in everything he does. It's amazing how many things he's involved with and does well. Really someone that we have all so much to learn from. So we invite you to be present in La Gran Idea in Mexico this November. And Jim, do you have any last words for our audience?
I just want to acknowledge everybody that spent some time with us today, and thank all of you for supporting what Dr. Carlos and I stand for. And if you guys want any information on what we do, you can go to chirohustle.com. That's chirohustle.com, or send me a direct message personally through Facebook Messenger. Or you can email me directly at jim@chirohustle.com. And I'd love to connect with anybody that finds that as an opportunity that they want to follow through with.
Fantastic. Jim, thank you again. Love speaking with you today. Thank you for accepting our invitation, and I hope to connect personally with you in the near future.
Yes, and I just want to acknowledge you too for doing great work and helping so many people. And I look forward to the next opportunity that we get a chance to be together as well.
Thank you. Be well, my friend. Take care.
Thank you.